Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show, episode number 148. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight's opening question is, what one simple change in your life could have made things go vastly different? Would anyone like to go first?
Ray.
Well, I was going to say No, that was a good one. Come on now.
We have the same one.
We've been together long enough that any choice or anything that changes...
And at the age we got together.
At the age that we got together, like it was high school, so any changes beyond that point or up to that point really affects everything, right?
Right.
And so anything up to us being 17, any changes weren't our decisions.
Weren't our decisions either.
They were our parents' decisions, right?
So we went with our own decisions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was...
So when I was was it my second year or third year of college, my dad knew somebody who was working at a game reserve in Zambia. And because I was doing ecotourism at the time at school, he sent him my name. And we did email correspondence for a little while. And I was going to be working at a game preserve in Zambia, Africa. But my contact... got malaria for the third time, had to come back home to the States. So had I gone to Africa, we would not have been together.
No, because...
And my life would have looked very differently.
As she was planning to go get malaria in Africa, I was deciding to go to Australia. And I was like, all right, well, if you're going to go on a major trip, I might as well as two, and I'll start saving up and go to Australia. And... this wouldn't be together anymore.
No, our lives would look very, very differently if I had.
Oh yeah.
If that contact and that job had gone through.
Yeah, because she would have been gone.
I would have been.
We wouldn't have.
No, we wouldn't have stayed together. So for us, it's a big deal.
Too far.
Yes. I want to jump in here real quick. Mine's along the same line. Like, I met Christy by literally sending her an email. We met online, and this was before, like, the dating sites. So, like, I think this was through, like, the personal ads on, like, Excite or something like that to date it. And I sent her an email, and it was a really nice email, and she looked at it and just was like, okay, and she kind of came back to it. So, had I not sent the email when I did, like maybe even a day or so later, it may have changed everything.
Yeah.
Everything. There was a second one I was going to throw out there, and I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. So, the girl that I took to prom, I would say I'm still pretty shy about that, but anyway, very shy or whatever. And, we were friends. And when I took her home, I was very respectful and took her home and did not kiss her goodnight because I was like, I don't know exactly where we're sitting, whatever. Come to find out later on, if you had kissed me, things might have gone differently. And I'm just like, man, talk about one small thing that would have changed everything.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But yeah, if we ever do a hardcore time travel episode, we will discuss the fact that 2/17/12, I cannot do anything before then because that's when my boys were born, and any little thing could change things up. So, Joseph, what's one little thing that if it had gone differently would have changed your life vastly?
So actually, I have two different phases in my life. The first one would be the day that I got my college acceptance letters.
Mm-hmm.
I got accepted into the university at home as an engineering student, and I also got accepted into the University of Texas as an engineering student. And when I looked at what was offered to me and whatnot, they were very comparable, and I chose to stay home, and which meant I stayed home for another 5 or 6 years before I moved to Austin. Mm-hmm. And had I moved to Austin, as an 18-year-old instead of as a 28-year-old, I think life would have gone very differently. I may not have even been, I would have stayed an engineering student. I think I don't know that I would have, gone and got my master's degree or anything like that. Like that one decision, caused that one fork in the timeline, I guess. The other decision would be the first time I messaged Elaine. I wrote out a message and was about to hit send, and then I turned to one of my coworker in my office that sat right next to me, and I looked at her and I said, "I don't think this is very good. You message her." So shout out to April. April messaged her, and now Elaine and I are engaged.
Nice.
Yeah. So that just that one quick decision could have drastically changed things.
Oh yeah, because
Awesome.
you would have been like, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. She may have said no. I would have never met you guys. Like who knows what I'd be doing right now.
No joke.
Yeah.
I know that there was only one Joseph Morales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The one and only. Yep. Sean, what one little decision or one little thing to change would have vastly changed your life?
I'm gonna go with I chose Coke over Pepsi. That was a pretty big deal. I decided when you asked that question, I am staying totally away from any relationship stuff because my wife might end up watching this stuff. So
no one watches it.
I don't think about
parents
that
watch the show.
But
okay.
One of the big ones was my mom kept nagging me to apply for the current company that I'm working for. Mm-hmm. And it has, the job opportunity came up, has nothing to do with my degree. And she kept bugging me so much that I was like, fine, I'll apply. There's no chance I'm getting this. And I went through all the interviews and the dumbasses hired me. And I'm coming up on 19 years there.
Wow.
It was pretty major. So, but it was just to appease my mother. It has nothing to do with what I went to university for. It was a total shot in the dark, and didn't even really want the job, but it was fine, Mom. I'll apply.
Nice.
And it required me to move to 3 hours away from where I was living. I was engaged at the time. It was pretty huge. And then when they accepted me, I'm like, fuck.
Fine. I'll come work for you.
All right.
Just to tie into that one, you reminded me of a small change that could have happened where we still were together.
Mm-hmm.
I was laid off from one of my jobs, and I was looking for a new job, and I just happened to go to see Chris at her work because I needed a couple of things from the grocery store. And when I was there, I walked in and I saw another guy that was laid off at the same time, and he said, "Hey, did you see this position?" I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Come over to my house after you're done here. We're going to work on your resume, and we'll get you to apply for this position." If I had have been 5 seconds later, I wouldn't have seen him.
No.
And I wouldn't have had the job I have now. Roger Murchison.
Roger.
Yeah.
He has the deepest voice of anybody living. It is so. Don't expect it when you see him. He's bald. He's got a mustache, and he's a really white man. And
really small white guy. And
gorgeous baritone comes out of him. It's a little.
It's even lower than baritone. It's
what is that?
Contrabass.
Contrabass. Yeah.
The brown note.
Anyway, sorry, I had to throw that one in there too.
Well, the reason this tonight's topic is we are discussing in pop culture, primarily movies. If someone got something that was non-movie, that's fine. But I did say movies. We're choosing something in pop culture, and we're discussing how one little change could vastly change the story of the movie. Joseph, I think, proposed this one. I'm assuming it was inspired by the current Marvel What If series that is currently on Disney Plus. So, with that said, would anyone like to go first?
Sure.
All right, Ray. What is a movie that with one little change would have gone vastly different?
So I went with 2 movies and 1 book. So my last one will be the book. But
okay.
So the first one I'm going to go with is Back to the Future again.
Okay.
So Marty, in this particular version, successfully brings back his sports almanac, and as soon as he gets out of the car and Doc, drives off and he's got the thing, all of a sudden you hear the screeching tires again, and an older Doc is yelling at him like, "Marty, you got to come with me now. We got to go back to the future." And he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And so they go to 1995, right? And Marty is shown his life as a rich person, which is pretty shitty because Jennifer's not with him, and
they've got no kids.
Yeah, they've got no kids. He's depressed. He's a drunk. He's rich as fuck, but like his life is terrible.
Right.
So the beauty about this one is it's still kind of a what if, and it changes the story, but I think you can kind of loop it back into where it goes, which the Wild West at some point, because you have to. It has to finish the way it finished. So it's not a drastic change, but it is as well. So that's why I started with that one. It's just a little teaser.
Right. The nice thing about that series is that even if it did drastically change everything, they'd go back and repair it, hopefully.
Yeah,
one or the other.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah.
But I thought it'd be kind of cool that they go to 1995. It's only 10 years in the future. They might have got a few things more right.
I don't know. They nailed a lot of stuff in that movie.
They did.
may not have been the exact year, but they got pretty damn close to some real stuff. Chris, what's a movie you picked to change one little thing?
Harry Potter.
Okay.
There's a lot, because the fandom is as big as it is. It's like all the theories have been done to death, right?
I don't think this one has.
This one maybe not. He came up with this idea, and he's very proud of himself.
Okay.
Because I got this one. This whole episode was very hard for me creatively. I was so stuck, and I couldn't think of anything that I hadn't watched a video on already, because I was trying to think of something original. So he thought of it, and I didn't think of any of this. What if it was only Lily that dies and James survives? So Harry still is the chosen one, but isn't sent. So James winds up raising Harry. I figured they'd go undercover. They'd try to live as muggles. They'd constantly be on the road. But also, Sirius would have never gone to Azkaban, and he is raising Harry with James. And they do keep in contact with the Order of the Phoenix. But James feels, and so when Harry turns 11, James feels that it's too dangerous to send Harry to Hogwarts.
Oh, that's an interesting twist.
Yeah. Aha!
Homeschooled Harry Potter.
Vast vocabulary. Shit at potions.
That was good. I like that.
I like that one too. Joseph, what's one you made a minor change to?
I chose so many of them.
Pick one.
Right. Can't do all 13. Pick one.
No. All right, so I'm going to go with the first X-Men movie, the original one. And this time, young child Magneto is a victim of the Holocaust. He does not survive.
Oh, okay.
So that whole storyline of what his revenge doesn't really happen. So Charles may or may not still create the school, but he doesn't have this antagonist that he has to worry about that is forcing his decisions.
Right.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
The really interesting thing about that is that he wouldn't have the antagonist where to the point of, okay, I have to be good because I don't want to go down that road. Mm-hmm. So he might ride that line a little bit more, and that would be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that could be dark.
Mm-hmm. It would be essentially unchecked Professor Xavier, roaming the Earth. I mean, would he? If you look at X-Men First Class, does he still take the bullet to the back that causes him to be paralyzed?
Well, and I don't think he would, because
he wouldn't be in the situation.
No, he wouldn't be.
He wouldn't be at all. Yeah, and
Cerebro doesn't get built.
No,
without Magneto.
That's right.
Oh yeah, so he definitely wouldn't be. He definitely wouldn't have as all of the kids that he has. At least he may have, even if he had built the school and went looking for them, he would have been grossly different at finding them.
I don't think he would even build the school, though. It would just be his arrogance would be unchecked at all, and so he would.
I'm kind of thinking that too.
Yeah, because that's his injury is what really made him go internal. So
right.
I think that is a drastic change for sure.
A class 5 mutant with an ego.
Who can control anyone.
Who can control anyone.
Yeah. Because Magneto was the one that figured out how to fuck.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Joseph, my goodness.
Sean, what's the first one you picked?
Okay. I picked little changes. So far, you guys have done like freaking major changes. So my first one is Titanic.
Okay.
Okay. Now, full disclosure here, I had to look this up because I'm not a Titanic fan. I would never claim to be. I don't want to be associated with it. But anyway, so the beginning of the movie when Jack is playing poker and about to win the free tickets for Titanic. Okay, so Jack pulls a single card. Okay. That allows him to get a full house, which beats spends 2 pairs.
Right.
So I say that card actually didn't allow him to get the tickets. So he doesn't win the tickets to get on there. So, surprise, surprise, Titanic actually sinks. Despite Jack not being on it.
Right.
Jack is stranded in England. He accidentally is killed that summer when he's gored by a bull while escaping a farmer's house while drawing the farmer's daughter. And Rose spends 4 days in hell on a ship she doesn't like and then welcomes the sweet embrace of cold death when it sinks. They all die.
So,
but it's not much of a story change. Like it's.
I was going to say that might actually affect the sinking of the ship, though, because they would have to turn around and go searching for her, because eventually they would be reporting that she's missing.
Oh, no, she's still on there. She's just locked her in a cabin hating the world.
Oh,
and so when it gets struck by the iceberg, she's like, "Thank you, God." And then she lays in bed and like just. Okay. Oh yeah, freeze me to death, baby.
I was gonna say, Jack's not there to save her when she goes to commit suicide by jumping off the back of the boat.
No. And the only reason I know this stuff, like I've seen Titanic once because everyone in the world has. Yes. However, in university, one of the girls on my floor was like a Titanic freak, and she watched it like once a week. So that's where I'm pulling that information from. I in no way endorse this film that I'm talking about.
What Sean is saying, he wants everybody to stop what they're doing now and go watch Titanic.
We'll watch it right now, yes.
Whatever.
I was going to piggyback off of that one. Slight change to it. I know the timelines don't line up, but Jack gets so depressed that he can't get onto the ship. He starts first dabbling in a little burglary, then a little bit of assault, and then the Ripper murders start happening.
Oh, Lord.
Joseph, I had so many timelines for Jack on this one. I ended up just going with being gored by a bull. So it seemed like the easiest one.
Does he draw the bull?
I even looked up like most common deaths in 1912. It was actually around tuberculosis, but I even like getting an infection from drawing with coal. Like I had a lot of different ones going.
Wow.
Awesome.
I was just thinking, like Ray was saying, though, if she had jumped, is there any reason he would have reported it, or would he have just been like, whatever?
Her mother would have reported it because that's her tie to the money. So we're going back and we're searching for her.
Yeah, you're right. That actually might have changed whether or not the ship sank.
That's interesting. You throw her overboard too.
Well, yeah, he was kind of ruthless, so you're right. That may have happened as well.
Throw her down with steerage.
Well, he had the diamond at that point, so yeah, that'd be.
Yeah. The first one that I did was, as Lainey would say, very on brand for me. I actually was just going back and rewatching this randomly while I was doing some other stuff. Had it on the background. The original 1986 Transformers the movie. Prime shoots Megatron, and Hot Rod doesn't interfere. And at that point, when he kills Megatron, the Decepticons retreat. Starscream becomes the new leader. He's an absolute horrible leader. The Autobots are able to rebuild Autobot City and eventually take Cybertron and live happily ever after. Unicron, at this point, knows that the Matrix hasn't gotten away from Prime. There's no hope of him getting away from, getting it away. He's not. He doesn't have any minions. He doesn't run into Megatron to turn him into Galvatron or the rest of the Decepticons. So he has no minions to go interfere. So he turns around and is like, all right, well, my time is not here, so I will come back at a later date. And we actually get a happy Transformers and like the soul crushing, childhood ruining. No, not really. But yeah, I was just like, would Prime have shot him? I was like, he sure looked like he was about to pull that trigger. There were a lot of Autobots that died that day. I think maybe Prime has had enough at this point. So
I could see Prime pulling that trigger.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was the first one. I was just like, okay, I've got to think through this one. So, Ray, what's your next one?
So we're gonna go with, instead of the Wizard of Oz, it's the new Wizard of Oz. The tornado does not take the house; it takes the barn, and it takes Uncle Henry with it.
Okay.
Lands on the Wicked Witch of the West, kills her. So the ruby slippers are no factor here.
Okay.
So there's no protection. Glinda still shows up, and he begs her, like, I need to get back to the farm. They rely on me. I need to go back. She says, I can't help you, but maybe the wizard can. And so he sets off on the same type of journey. Still collects the Scarecrow, the Lion, the Tin Man. Still goes through all of that. They don't sing as much for some reason. I'm not sure why. But he knows enough that they don't fall asleep in that field, because he's like, no, this is fucked. We gotta get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he gets to Oz, and the wizard sees this as his chance to get out of Oz, and he's like, I need you to be the new wizard. This is how we're gonna get you home. You have to become the new wizard, and we'll grant you these powers so that you can go back. Tricks Uncle Henry into becoming the new Wizard of Oz, and books it out of there. And that leaves Uncle Henry as the new Wizard of Oz.
Interesting. That's definitely some fan fiction right there.
Yeah. I was like, fuck it.
That's really pulling deep. That's Wizard of Oz. Dude, that's so, and I mean that is like a happy sense.
Yes.
Just, Wizard of Oz? Really?
We made it unhappy.
There you go. Chris,
but
what's your next one?
Keeping the wizard there, really?
What's that?
Why can't Uncle Henry just leave?
He can't. There's no way he's going to get back.
Well, the magic was in him all along. He didn't need the slippers.
What was keeping the wizard from leaving?
Yeah, that's exactly like.
So the original wizard, I'm guessing that he had such a
See, I can see the wizard and Henry.
Maybe.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah. Later, bitches.
Freaking munchkin creeps. Whatever. Can't tie me here.
That means that they would have to have more provisions and everything, and I don't think the wizard would be willing to wait. And I think that he's like, no, you need to become the new wizard. And yeah, he was a trickster anyway, right? He was a fraud. He was a con man.
That's true.
Shyster.
Yeah, that James Franco's pretty sketchy.
Chris, what's your next one?
Okay, so because I'm very cool, I've been watching a lot of Twilight on Netflix lately.
Okay.
That's cool.
Son kills
getting
him.
closer to her birthday. It's a tradition.
Anyway.
I know. I was there at the movies with her.
So mine is that Bella chooses Jacob over Edward in New Moon. So that means that Edward, so Edward doesn't take it very well, and the Volturi actually kill him. He gets his wish, and that means that Jacob and Bella get together. They have a bunch of kids, and they live happily ever after. The end.
And do they have a litter of kids?
Whatever.
I like that.
At the end of the story.
Oh, they're so cute.
See, the only change that I would make to that is I know the Volturi if they start hearing that there's werewolves, there's a war.
Right, but that doesn't happen in my version.
Oh, right.
It ends after New Moon. They live happily ever after.
I'm having a hard time remembering the Volturi.
Sheen.
Yeah, they're the ones that are basically running the
They're the vampire royalty. They're like the
council. Yeah,
the council.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys know that. You're proud of that, huh? Cool. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You do it yourself. That's right on.
They all fight over one throne.
Yep.
Anyone have anything to add to that? Like I've never read the books, but
good save. Liar, but it's a good save.
No, I haven't. I honestly have not. I have not read the books. Like Christy was all about them in the movies.
Oh yeah, I read them in a week and a half, all 4 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I burned right through them. I haven't read them since. I'd read them again, but yeah, just I was watching New Moon today, and I'm like, nope, this is when the movie ends because she picks Jake. That's the end.
I'm not saying a word. This is being recorded. This is crazy.
All right. Well, Joseph, what's your next one?
Before I choose, Eugene, I just gotta ask: did you do Ghostbusters?
Yes, I did.
Okay, then I won't do that one
No. Go ahead, because I want to see. I want to see if you picked the same thing I picked.
Well, how about this? You do Ghostbusters, talk about, and then I'll talk about what I also did. All right.
Okay.
So then I'm gonna go with the Phantom Menace, and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan agree with the Council and don't train Anakin. They take him back to Tatooine, which means in my version, when Chancellor Palpatine tries to take power, Mace Windu actually kills him and stops him from doing all that, because Anakin does not stop Mace from dealing the final blow or bringing him to the Council for judgment or whatever. So everything that happens after, I think that's Revenge of the Sith, right? Yes. Does not happen. There is no influence from Palpatine on young Anakin. All the Sand people don't get killed. Lots of things don't happen. Luke and Leia never get born.
Yeah.
But I always got the impression that Palpatine let Mace win in order to have Anakin prove that he was like it was all part of the master plan. Because Palpatine is planning like 1,000 steps ahead. I think he actually let Mace win to solidify his hold on Anakin. If Anakin wasn't there, he'd just like, oh, Mace, you're dead.
Well,
and continue on.
Mace shows up with 3 or 4 other Jedi Masters, so at least there'd be a fight.
Yeah, and it would be a cool looking one, but I still think Palpatine would win it.
Yeah, but it's Samuel L. Jackson, so.
Well, and you also would not have.
By the sounds of it, he survived it. That's the way they want to go.
I really want that to happen.
Well, but think about this: you would not have the Force lightning part, so he would not be able to tell the what do they call senators that the Jedi horribly disfigured him and make them pariahs, essentially.
And
paint them the villains.
That's interesting. The only thing that I wonder is, would Palpatine not catch wind of this kid that has a sane connection to the Force?
Well, he may, and Anakin could still get trained, but he'd never have any Jedi influence. So the whole his inner turmoil and all that kind of stuff would never happen.
Yeah, it would just be straight Sith.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah, then that's my big question is, does he never get wind of Anakin, or does he get wind of Anakin and then like you said, have a straight shot at making him?
So I'm kind of picturing a different scene, and forgive me, I don't want to change your story too much, but
you're good.
I'm about to. So I picture it as Palpatine comes down, kills his mother, and shows Luke, like, listen, look, the Jedi didn't trust you enough so much that they tried to keep you in slavery. They killed your mother. Look at this, the lightsaber that killed her. You need to come with me. I'm going to protect you.
Come with me if you want to.
And yeah, and then I can see Palpatine just twisting this kid so much that he's just straight full on Sith.
Mm-hmm.
See, I almost wonder if things change in that if he gets a hold of Anakin and straight turns him Sith, if he doesn't have anything holding him back, and we already know he's very prideful, I'm thinking he takes out Palpatine at some point when he hits
isn't that the rule?
That's the rule, and once he gets to a certain point, he may, with nothing holding him back and being fully trained, he may flat out take out. And then we wouldn't have the same empire built, but we would definitely have this super badass. That's it. See, there's like that's like 14 different episodes you just described right there that we can do.
I'm getting confused. I can't remember what we're talking about.
That's just the alcohol talking.
Yes.
Might be.
Good one. Yeah, there was lots of stuff in the Star Wars universe that you can talk about. So, yes, my next one was Ghostbusters. There's several things that you could change in this. I specifically chose near the end of the movie, Ray actually keeps his head clear. And so one of two things happened, and this is what I couldn't decide. One, Gozer is not able to take the form of anything, and thus is denied access into our realm, and has to move on to another realm. Or the other thing is Gozer takes the form of nothing, and literally is able to sweep over the planet and destroy it vastly, very, very fast.
And thus begins the never-ending story.
There you go. Yeah. And that's kind of what I was thinking. It was like, what if it was literally just like this dark void that was like, you've chosen, and this dark void forms, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Because let's face it, the only reason that the guys beat Gozer is because they picked the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, who is not light on his feet and is kind of having to lumber down the street. So it gives them a few minutes to figure out a plan. So anyway, but yeah, that was the choice that I made. Was that the same thing you were thinking?
No. So
all right, so what were you thinking?
The university funded them.
So I thought about that as well.
The lighthouse never happens, which means they never get in trouble with the EPA, which means the containment unit never gets shut down. So there is no sign that Gozer is coming, because not all the energy is out in the world. So Gozer never even gets the opportunity to have them on the rooftop.
Right.
That was... They just
I thought about that one too, and I was like, no, I'm going to go with this one, because I was going more simple, but... Yeah, I thought about that one as well. That's a good one. So, yeah, because I thought about that too. I mean, like, Gozer would still try to come. We would still, whatever, would still possess the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. But like you said, there's no large, explosion of all of this energy to allow them to actually come through.
What may end up happening without that? The what's it called? The negative slime would just keep building and building. So Gozer may come out even more powerful. Instead of it being is it Vigo?
Yeah.
Right.
Carpathian, it might just be Gozer with all this negative slime that he could use. Or
second one, yeah.
All right, so I think we're back around to Ray.
Yeah.
We skipped Sean.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right, because we got confused going back. Yeah, so I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
And I'm the one drinking?
I know, right?
shit. Fifth Element.
Ah.
Okay.
One of my favorite movies.
You have my attention.
End of the movie. Okay, they're trying to get all the stones. So they got, and then like,
Yeah.
lights the match, and as he's putting it down, it almost goes out. But then they're like, and it stays lit. Well, I say it goes out. They all die.
And they all die.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, all done. The ultimate evil comes, swallows Earth, and he's like, "Oh, I'm still hungry," and envelops the rest of the universe. Yeah, just some
Happily
little.
ever after.
Whew, blows out the light. The last match.
Bullshit.
Oh, bugger. Yeah, just a little change.
Yeah, that would be a little one.
That would.
And I thought about that movie because there's so many different things. The other thing was like, Lilu, instead of dropping into his cab, bounces off the front of it, and and that's only like half a second. Bounces off the front, splat. They reconstitute her again, but this time Corbin isn't in the picture, so he can't offer her love.
Yeah.
So they could do the whole thing again, but Corbin's not in the picture, and probably a little late.
To the dark side.
She's like, she saw the history of human, deserve to live, and even if they figured out all the stones, she's like, no, goodbye.
Yeah. Yep, tough.
But that's at the beginning of the movie. That changes the whole movie.
Yeah.
If you change at the very end of the movie, you can still kill everyone. It's fun, but you still have that whole movie.
Yeah.
You still get to all the fun parts.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right, now Ray, what's your next one?
You know what? I just thought of another one, so I'm going to say this one because I think you guys came up with 4. Is that correct?
Yep.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
I only have 3.
Okay.
I'm done after this last
All
one.
right. Well, I'm going to go with the one I just kind of came up with. What's that series called? Never mind. No, I've still got it. What's the one that the movie we absolutely hated where she dies at the end despite surviving the death series?
Oh, Divergent.
Divergent series.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was a horrible series.
I fucking hate that ending because she survives the death serum and
she survives everything and gets shot
and then he's like,
dies.
oh well, bang, and now she's dead. Like,
what was the point of her surviving everything?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, she dies at the end.
If you have not seen Divergent or read the books, you're on your own. Man.
I thought for sure you were going to say good for you.
Anyway, so I'm going to flip it, and she doesn't get shot, and she actually survives that because she should.
She should have.
And that's
the end of the
movie. And it's a happy ending, and it's a better ending because then they actually get into the serums and they actually figure out what's going on and how she's able to survive it and blah blah blah, rather than killing her off with a fucking gun.
Yeah.
There.
You diverge the Divergent series.
Yes.
I thought for sure Joseph was going to jump in with that one. Sorry. Mr. I am low key excited for low key. So.
Oh God. Yes. Not enough alcohol to make that funny.
No, there's not. Chris, what's your last one?
So my last one is Encino Man. What if Dave?
That's a pull.
I know. What if Dave? This is also he.
I gave her the what if.
You gave me the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if Dave finds the cave girl instead of Link? So Dave finds her name is Cave Nug. What if he finds Cave Nug instead of Link while digging the pool? I think Stoney and Cave Nug would get together. I honestly think they would. And Dave never gets together with Robin, and Link is never found. End of the movie.
Poor Link.
Poor Link stays in the ground. We never see a chiseled Brendan Fraser.
You went a little darker than I thought you would.
I did. Well, no, think about like Stoney and Cave Nug.
They
obviously,
would definitely get along.
But she wouldn't make them popular.
No.
Link made them popular and gave him a chance to talk to Robin and and all that, and that would never happen.
Sounds like a plot of an X-rated movie. Finding a cave woman.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
but not set in 1991.
Oh yeah, that's totally X-rated.
Yeah.
Casino Girl.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I see.
Yeah. You're a
He's like, no, I'm not having it. You're corrupting my beautiful vision.
pervert.
Joseph, what's your next one?
Oh man, I have so many to choose from. I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park, and the subtle change that I'm gonna make is that I don't remember his name in the movie, but Newman's character gets paid
Nedry.
what he wants to get paid. So
I
he
thought about
doesn't
this one too.
sabotage all the things.
Yeah.
You know. So basically, the rides happen the way they're supposed to. Everything is nice and pretty, and Jurassic Park opens.
Wasn't it you and Quinn who were talking about
Yeah,
that?
Quinn
Just
and
what
I.
if
Yeah.
Jurassic Park and they ran it
What if they were
competently?
competent?
What if they were
Yeah.
Those aren't. Well, that one's not a subtle change. See, I thought it was Jurassic Park too, but then I had too many. But mine was when he popped the champagne. He died of a heart attack. And then, well, because right away, like Alan and they're not going to go to the park, and they're going to miss the hurricane, and they're not going to see any of that stuff. But yeah, I was figuring Hammond would pop the cork and then keels over and dies. Just a little thing.
just. But they still get the funding for the 3 years.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get that in writing, Alan? Oh, I don't think so.
Wait, don't die yet. Just sign.
Right. His signature looks an awful lot like "Help me."
Yeah. Turned into a sitcom real quick. Yeah, I thought about that one too, because that's what I always tell everyone is Jurassic Park is it's not about. Yeah, everyone thinks it's a story about why we shouldn't try to play God and the effects that cloning and genetics and stuff can have on life. No, the story of Jurassic Park is pay your tech people what they're worth. That's the story of Jurassic Park.
Yes, it is.
Done. So, Sean, what's your next one?
I'm going with Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
And Clark Griswold gets the letter when he's supposed to. It doesn't fall between the seats. He gets it, so he finds out that his Christmas bonus is quite nice on toast about a week before. So everything still happens, but finding out about his Christmas bonus was like everything's built up and it's the final straw.
Right.
But if you bring it in earlier, everything just like, oh, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. There's no final thing. Well, maybe the squirrel. I don't know. But he just keeps accumulating. And so instead of like releasing it in a cathartic yelling match, which gives Eddie his ability to go out and kidnap the boss and bring him back and then get his bonus. Instead, it just keeps building up into a nice little aneurysm. And he dies.
I was wondering where you were going to go. I'm like, please tell me you didn't go murder-suicide on this.
It just, like, by the time Christmas Eve rolls around, Louis, my treat. Yeah. It's kind of like a dead.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Christmas Vacation. The day after, well, I have to say American Thanksgiving because of the Canadians on the podcast, but the day after American Thanksgiving, every single day up until Christmas Day, I watch that movie. Either in its entirety or I just keep it going. That has been my tradition for like
on TBS,
20 years.
They did that a lot of times too. They did a marathon right up. Also, A Christmas Story did the same thing.
Yes.
That's another good one.
Yeah, that's very Canadian, even though it was like in the U.S. It was all filmed in like Kitchener or something like that.
It.
Yeah, I know.
Christy hates it. It's not my favorite, so it never gets any playtime here.
Oh my God, we watched it at least like 2 or 3 times a year.
But see, that's how we are with Christmas Vacation. We watch Christmas Vacation.
We do that too.
Yeah.
That and Elf.
Yep,
it
same
took
thing.
a lot
That
of
and Elf.
It took a lot of convincing to.
Elf.
Right.
On Alf.
Alf.
Yeah.
That
Elf.
seems like a weird Christmas story.
Yo.
He gets the cat.
It took a lot of convincing to allow for Elaine to allow me to have it constantly on, but that's just what it is. Because of the first National Lampoon's Vacation, anytime I go somewhere specifically for a holiday, like whenever we leave here to drive to my parents for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or whatever, the first thing that I do in my truck or whatever I'm driving, I play Holiday Road.
Nice. Yes. I was going to say, please tell me that's what you're about to say.
All right. Another trivia, since we're on to trivia and all that. When they're driving in Chicago, leaving Chicago or whatever, that's in the opening scene of Married with Children. Because Married with Children's budget is so low, they started stealing from other movies.
Really? I didn't know that.
There you go.
Nice.
You've done something. And knowing's half the battle.
You, Joe. All right, so I had 3 other ones that we can just kind of run through here in a little bit. My next one, actually, I had 3 different ways out on this one. And it's Batman. The first one is, we can discuss, the mugger kills Bruce as well. He shot mom and dad. Why not? Kill the kid.
There you go. Done. I'm on board.
So at that point, like, the only big change I see, of course, they're not going to leave the company to Alfred unless it was in his will, but I don't think it was. They're not going to leave it to Alfred, so the company's probably just going to go on and do whatever it is. Of course, the big change is going to be we're not going to have Batman, and any supervillains that come up in Gotham are not going to be dealt with.
Okay, it could be argued, though, that, and they do this in the comics, supervillains don't come up unless they have superheroes.
Yes, that's true.
So
except
they may not
for
even
the Joker. I don't think anything was going. The Joker was a force that was going to come one way or the other. Now, whether or not we got the other ones, we'll see. But I see that where there's no need to go to the extremes that you're going to if there's no one to worry about. Like if you're just dealing with the cops, whatever. Yeah. So that was the first one that I put forward.
Unless Alfred becomes the superhero.
I thought about that. I don't know how that happens.
Geriatric man.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Grandpa Simpson.
So that was the first one. The second one was the mugger kills just his dad. So I was thinking if he killed just his dad, his mom's probably gonna be like, we can't be here anymore. We can't stay in Gotham. She's going to take Bruce. They're going to move out of the city and grow up somewhere else.
So same ending.
Probably not have a superhero to. Now maybe he comes back and is like, no, I want to come back to my family's original city and maybe try to help people or whatever. But I don't see us getting Batman out of the situation.
No, I see Iron Man.
Yeah, that could be. And that was the third version, was the mugger kills just his mom. And I thought if that were to happen, we still get Batman, but we get dark Batman. Because killed his mom, his dad basically just fucking falls off. Like his mom is like, no, I have to keep going for Bruce. His dad, on the other hand, is just like, the fucking world is a garbage pit. I lost the only woman I've ever loved. And
he buries himself in work. Yeah.
Buries himself with work. And, maybe he even like takes Bruce under his wing and is like, you and I are going to, try to fix the city, but there's not going to be, I just don't see there being this regulator on Bruce. Like it's going to be, oh, hey, I broke in and I did this. Okay, cool. Done. You're dead. So we're not going to have an Arkham Asylum because all the fucking supervillains are going to be gone. Like it's going to be a one and done situation. So.
Well, that's kind of like if Bruce and Martha get killed and it's only, what's his name? The father survives. Because they've done it. Yeah, they've done a comic book with that.
Isn't Flashpoint Paradox? They kill Bruce, and his dad becomes Batman, and his mom becomes the Joker.
And he comes
that's interesting.
Darker Batman.
So Thomas Wayne carries a gun, and his mom Martha is she goes insane and she's the Joker.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah, no,
It
right?
is the Flashpoint Paradox, the animated series or the animated movie. That's the one that that's the route they chose.
That's the route they chose. Okay, I may have to check that one out then. All right, Ray. You said do you have a fourth one?
I got a last one here. Off to be the wizard becomes off to be the sorcerer.
Oh, the book.
Okay.
I gotta think about this one.
Yeah, good luck. So Martin comes across a website in his research while he's trying to find out where to set his emergency button, the escape button. He's trying to figure out where to go. In his research, he found this really cool website that talked about actual Atlantis, and he's like, that's really cool. I got to put that on my phone to like check it out later. Except that he accidentally puts it into his exit. So when he hits the escape button, he's whisked away to Atlantis, where Britt is standing there. Britt the Elder says, "Hey Martin, I can't wait for you to just meet everybody. This is going to be so great. You're going to love it here."
I hate this. Go on.
Yeah, I'm with Eugene on this one.
Hold on. There's one part that I built it all around one part. So Atlantis, he's there. Britt the Elder greets him. She tells him that it's going to be amazing. He's going to have a good time. He's there. You know, in about a month or so, they're going to have this conference where all these other wizards are going to come, and he's going to meet his new friends. Don't worry, we got everything. But to slowly introduce you to the area, we're going to give you a new servant. Meet Ampex. He's going to help you out and learn the area. Make sure you're good. We'll have a new love interest for Martin in the next story. Philip shows up for the conference. He's bringing Tyler with him because Martin was never there. Okay. And they have to reluctantly bring Gary because Gary was the one that figured out the howling was actually linked to the book in his stupid story. So Gary's the one that released Tyler from Jimmy's spell, and they were able to beat Jimmy in a different way. And Philip and Martin do not get along at first because they didn't have that.
You wrote a whole page.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Don't get along at first. Despite Britt keeps telling him, "Oh, you guys are going to be such great friends." Oh yeah, no, we still hate Britt. And that was the other change. Philip and Britt never get together. That's not a thing.
Okay, I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Because I think that Gwen and Philip should have been the ones to get together because they were the ones that were naturally friends beforehand. They were mentally about the same age, and Martin gets a new sorceress and gets to meet somebody totally new. So
who actually likes
him?
Because it feels like Gwen doesn't like Martin. She just feels like she sort of settled for him.
Yeah, because she couldn't get.
She didn't like nobody else was like Gary. I just thought it was funny that Gary in Atlantis going lady. Like he's like
yes, that would have been fantastic. That would have been the other good part.
Figure gun guy, just, like hey.
Yeah, I'd love to see Gary in Atlantis for sure. Anyway, there you go.
We should drop that in his ear and be like, hey.
Don't worry about all the other books. Just make one with Gary.
Yeah, can you get Gary to?
Yeah, let's do a what else?
A new Bella. Just something small.
I wonder if he would ever. Never mind. Go on. So you said you were done, right, Chris?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Joseph, pick another one.
Resident Evil, where the Red Queen does not become a murderous supercomputer, and she actually does her job and keeps the T-virus under quarantine, and the people that work in the underground lab at Raccoon City don't get exposed, and the zombies never happen.
I forgot I said movies because I was just like, I don't remember this in the game, and then I was like, oh wait, he's talking about the movies.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah,
I can't see any flaws with that.
Yeah. Instead of declaring that everyone in there is infected and they're all threats and killing them all. She just quarantines a small little group.
Like the computer program should have done.
Yes.
So.
3 laws of robotics and whatnot.
Exactly, yeah. Sean, do you have another one?
I'm going with Terminator.
Oh, Jesus. I specifically stayed away from Terminator because there's so much to that.
Little change, because you also said little change, and you guys tend to do the big one. So the little one is Sarah and Connor or Reese are together, and just before they do the deed, Sarah whips out a cocksock. A condom. He doesn't know he's the father, and she doesn't know anything about it, and she's a progressive woman. And anyway, always prepared. Bam. So John Connor doesn't officially exist, so he kind of gets wiped from history. However, that whole movie takes place. Reese dies. Sarah kills the Terminator, whatever. But she still thinks she has to birth John Connor. So she finds the dumbest slob or whatever that would take her afterwards. And has a John Connor later on. But at this point, Skynet's like, the real John Connor doesn't exist anymore, so we really don't care. So she's thinking she's getting hunted, whereas the machines don't really care about her. And the John Connor that she does birth, he's got an IQ lower than a sack of potatoes. He's a special guy. But she tries training him anyway and all that. She gets locked up in the psychiatric ward. And anyway, she dies from a nuclear explosion because there's no one there to rescue her. And he dies in the foster care system looking at his shiny, shiny shoes. And from a nuclear explosion. So, and Skynet takes over the world and everyone dies. And Dark Fate doesn't take place because they don't destroy Skynet in the second movie because John Connor's looking at his shiny, shiny shoes.
Jesus.
There. All thought out. Little change. Use a condom.
That's actually.
You never know.
That's not a bad. Yeah. I love those movies. I love the first and second movie, and then the ones after it. You can kind of just take and.
I like them all. Just
you
try not to get into the continuity too much because time travel sucks for any movie.
Yep.
And I love Star Trek, but anytime they go into freaking time travel, I'm ready to rip out my hair. However, the whole second season of Picard's going to be about it, but Patrick Stewart, so fuck it. But yeah, time travel, there's just too many ways of poking holes and shit.
I still think of anything, Futurama handled time travel the best.
Oh yeah.
That was.
You slept with your own grandma. You're your own grandson.
What was was it Bender's Game? That movie, was fantastic. And I sat there and thought, and I was just like, no, this was planned out. They really thought this out. And then that's when I finally, as much as I enjoyed that series, that's when I finally started doing research. It was like, holy shit, half the writing team has PhDs. Everyone on there has a master's degree. It's like the fucking smartest writing group ever. I'm like, of course they thought this through.
Ever listen, so my wife and I, we can quote Futurama any episode. I close my eyes and I can listen to an episode and I can picture the whole thing in my head. I can run through the whole thing. But I can also do that with the commentary because I've listened to the commentary so much. And those guys are wicked smart.
Yeah.
But it's great. Nothing on that show hasn't been thought about 1,000 times over. Way more than any movie.
Oh, yeah,
James
absolutely.
Cameron should have hired these people. Holy crap.
If I'm not mistaken, that one episode where they're switching brains, they actually had to write a mathematical theorem to make it work by the end of the episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, you take a look at the shit on their boards and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that's
all
crazy.
That stuff is real.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. When they start talking about whenever Bender and what's his brother? Rodriguez or
No, that's his middle name. Bender and.
Anyway, him and his brother are comparing their serial numbers. It's some obscure mathematical thing, and that's why they're both laughing. You're just like, yeah, Flexo. It's like, why is this funny? And you're like, oh, you have to be explained. It's this specific type of mathematical number.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
the
okay.
Sum of two squares.
Yeah. Okay, so I had 3 on here. I thought we could just kind of run through. I'm currently almost done with the 2 Towers. I have decided to go through and listen to the Lord of the Rings books. We'll have some discussions on that during Marginally Geeky. Anyway, what if Gollum didn't lose the ring?
Yeah. Oh, I thought about this today too, because I was like, okay, I want to pick something that I know a lot about so that I could flesh it out and think of all the different scenarios without, having to do too much research. And yeah, what if Gollum did? What if Isildur actually chucked it in like he was supposed to and didn't hang on to it like an idiot and get shot with a bunch of arrows? You could just
I was thinking
back and back and back.
So, like, if he didn't lose the ring, everything that happened with Bilbo would not have happened. Well, I mean, he would have still gone through the first. We would have gotten mostly the Hobbit.
Yes, he would have.
He would. Yeah, because he still would have. The whole thing, like with Airborne, everything happened before he got the ring. Yeah.
But like, my question is do you think the Nazgul and everyone else would have easily found Gollum? Because he was a craft. Now, granted, they did have him captured at one point because they captured him. The only reason they let him go was to become a chaos agent to go find the ring.
Yeah,
I think they were tracking him by the ring. Every time he put the ring on, it was a tracking beacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
Keep going.
He didn't put the ring on. So the other thing there is he was captured when he was searching for the ring. So if he had the ring, they weren't going to find him. He just would have stayed
in Moria. Right? Was he in Moria? He was in a mountain. Which mountain?
He was in the Misty Mountains.
Misty Mountains. Thank you.
Yeah.
He would have stayed.
I think they would have had a lot harder. I think
eventually he would have been caught. Eventually they would have found him. It would have been harder, but I think they would have eventually found him. But
would they have, or would Gandalf have finally found him?
Somebody would have found him eventually. But Gandalf didn't go looking for him.
Gandalf did not know that the ring was the ring until the beginning of the first book. And he even then was just like, I gotta go do some research.
He had his suspicions, but I don't actually seeing the writing on them.
Yeah, I know that he knew of Gollum.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if he caught wind of this creature that's living, maybe he would have looked into it more eventually.
It would have happened.
I think it would have been a race to find Gollum rather than getting to Mordor.
Yeah.
See, my real question comes down to: do we think if Gollum had not lost the ring, would it had fallen? Would it have not fallen into Sauron's hands, or would it have easily, or maybe not easily? Let's just, if nothing else, it would have continued to drive Gollum crazy. I mean, it was already driving him insane, but he would have kept, going.
There would have been a third or a fourth personality for sure.
You know what? I just thought about something. So the ring basically commands and said whenever it wants to go, it wants to go. So I think if he had held on to it, eventually when things lined up and it was time to roll, it would have just been like, all right, cool, I'm out of here, and found its way easily to the Nazgul or somebody that would have taken it back. So I think my answer on this one, my version is, if he kept the ring, shit would not have turned out so well.
No, I don't think so.
Have any of y'all read the Silmarillion?
That lady has.
Oh,
no, I haven't.
That's right. You haven't read it yet. Okay.
Okay, then I can't go further back about what if the ring never got forged and the war with the sons of Feanor and Fangolfin and.
Yeah, I know about all that. Yeah, because what if? Because it was Celebrian who forged it. Was it not?
Celebrimbor.
Yes. He forged them, and then but then made one in secret. That's the one, because he was.
Sauron made the one in secret.
Yeah, he made the one in secret. Yeah, but he influenced all the other ones, and
except for the three rings of the elves.
Yeah,
all
that.
that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I know the Valinor and Numenor and all of that. Like I have a sort of like a kind of working knowledge.
Can you lend books from your Audible library?
Not anymore.
Oh, I was gonna say, Chris, if you want it, I own it. I can lend it to you.
Well, I have to read. Like I think I have to like see it because if I listen to it, I think I might like check out.
It's like 29 hours long.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, I believe that. That's why I had to read the books instead of listen to them because I just would have totally zoned out. Because especially when the men from Gondor are talking, too much. Gonna listen to that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. I forgot how much singing there is in these books.
Oh,
Especially the first one.
Poetry?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it. I didn't read any.
Mark it on your calendars. I think even though we call this show the Epically Geeky Show, episode 148, I think it's the geekiest conversation we've ever had.
Might be.
So all right. So Ray, do you have another one?
No, I'm good. I'm done.
All right. Joseph, pick another one, dude.
Actually, if no one else has any more, I'll just go with my honorable mention.
I've got two more real quick, but go on.
Oh, okay. If you got two more real quick, then we can do The Mummy, where she does not read from the Book of the Dead.
Oh.
So the mummy does not get woken up. So they just collect the treasure and go home and live their super rich lives.
Yay!
Is Brendan Fraser still in it?
Brendan Fraser is still in it because he has to lead her to.
Oh yeah, and he doesn't get a back injury that winds up derailing his whole career. And now he looks the way he looks.
Ow.
Okay.
Meow.
I mean, he looks tired. He looks tired. It's like watching Keanu Reeves run. It's too much. Stop.
Or Sylvester Stallone run.
Oh, they have to stop. There's too many injuries.
Are we just gonna quick fire them, Eugene?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I have My Girl, and there's no beehive.
Oh, I love it. Oh, the doesn't die.
Yeah.
That's
your
dark,
ring and
dude.
gives to her, and they get married, and they're happy ever after. Yeah.
Then there's no My Girl 2.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And then Hocus Pocus. I got two different ones for Hocus Pocus. He doesn't light the candle.
Okay.
Or, if he does light the candle, the parents believe them when they go to the dance. And there's like this whole literal witch hunt for the Sanderson sisters.
I don't know
Sam
that movie that well. I think
I've
I saw
only
that
seen it
movie when I
once.
was like 10. I can't remember that movie.
I do have an honorable mention, but I will wait till the end to throw that one there.
All right. Sean, do you have any other ones you want to throw out real quick?
All right, I'm going to make one up real quick. Spider-Man. Spider comes down and misses his hand, and he squishes it. So, no Spider-Man. He does eventually hook up with Mary Jane after witnessing all the horrible, horrible things. But he doesn't have Spider-Man personality to, like, deal with, so he can actually focus on Mary Jane. And he becomes a very loving husband and happy ending. But then they get in a bus accident, and they all die.
Okay.
So...
I thought for sure you were going to say they got killed by just pick one of the gallery.
Oh, no, it was a bus.
It was a bus, okay.
It was a bus.
Very specifically a bus.
Like, mind that bus, what bus? Splat.
Oh, jeez. The other two, I think we actually brought up. I know one of them we brought up when we were talking about this one. What if the rat didn't bring Ant-Man back?
That's a good
Like,
one. That was, even, like, for Marvel, was pretty far-fetched.
Yeah. So basically, we just have depressed superheroes from now on, and because there's no hope of doing anything except for Iron Man. Things kind of worked out pretty good for Iron Man. So, we'd still have Tony. So.
Yay.
Ronin's killing spree would continue.
Oh, I didn't like that.
Yeah, that would not have been good. And then the other one that I brought up, and I forgot about this when you brought up episode 1. And instead of something like the Jedi Council agreeing, because you, like Sean's kind of said a couple times, some of the ones y'all picked kind of big. What if R2 got shot while he was working on the ship?
Oh, yeah.
Like, done.
Yep.
The ship would have been captured. The Federation would have kept going. We would have not had the. So here's an interesting question. So if the Federation was able to control Naboo, and it was not used as a kind of the jumping off point for why we need an army, the Emperor would have had to drastically change his plans. Like, he would have, I'm guessing he would have gone the other way, which I always thought was plan B, was, all right, well, the clones don't work out. I've got control of a robot army. Good enough. I'll just take control this way.
So the only question so if Obi-Wan never gets that, or like if R2 doesn't exist, I think Obi-Wan eventually would hear about what's going on, and he would approach Luke at some point.
You mean Anakin?
Or no. So
what are you thinking?
Sorry, I'm thinking A New Hope.
No, I'm talking about Episode 1.
Yeah,
when they're escaping Naboo, and there are the 4 droids working on the silver shiny ship, and the other 3 get blasted off, and R2's the only one still who makes it.
That's right.
Yeah,
that changes that whole story for sure.
Yeah, instead of R2 surviving, it's Ephraim, the retarded robot.
It's a different one. It's like D6.
It's the sassy one.
Oh, yeah.
They're all sassy.
That's true. No, I was thinking A New Hope, and yeah, if R2 got shot down, like, oh, don't worry about that. There's no life signs. No, they actually shoot that ship. They destroy the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, yeah, Obi-Wan would eventually approach Luke at some point, but that's a whole other story.
Maybe. All right, Joseph. Unless Sean has another one he wants to throw out there, what's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention is all of Greek mythology, and Zeus keeps it in his pants.
Yep. Wow.
Or he wears a cock sock.
What if he was female and he had to have all the babies?
Yeah.
Instead of Zeus, it was it. Or no, that doesn't work either.
You would have stopped a while back and be like, no, I am not having any more
Yeah,
kids.
I'm not having another kid. This is
done. All right, well, with that, I guess let's go ahead and move on to our picks and pans for the month. Would anyone like to go first?
I'll go.
All right, Chris, what is your pick and or pan?
I have two of each. No, one. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. So I have now started buying books. I went on a 1.5-year book ban where I burned through all the books in the house. And now that we live so close to London and a massive Indigo, I started buying books again. So I bought Stardust, which is one of my favorite movies. And I've never read the book. And I bought the book. And the gentleman, thankfully, at the till said it is very different than the movie. Had he not warned me about that, I might not have liked the book. But I liked it. It was very, very different. Totally different. Ending was completely different. The pirates are in, or the lightning farmers, I think, are in for like a 1.5 pages maybe, and then that's it. So it was very interesting. And then I counted all the books that I've read because I've been keeping track, and I've read 32 books so far, which for me is pretty good.
Nicely done.
And then the pan is, we found out that we have lead paint throughout this entire house, which I'm not totally surprised, but it does suck because then it adds another kink to our plans and a little bit added expense to get rid of it.
Oh no!
So it's on the majority of the trim. And,
it's on all of the trim except for in the living room and dining room.
Yeah,
it's everywhere on all.
How
the
did y'all find this out?
We did a lead.
I suspected.
We suspected because the house is over 100 years old.
And I bought a test kit.
Yeah. And like we didn't have to wait the 30 seconds for it to show up. Like it was instant. It was like,
damn.
That's lead paint. But there are ways to get rid of it, and so we're going to do that.
We found a couple of ways, yeah.
And then last night, I sometimes decide that we need to watch real shitty movies just for the fun of it. We picked one. I picked one. This is my fault. My fault.
All of you need to do this now because I have yet to watch the ending.
We watched
I gave up.
We watched Cosmic Sin, which is the new Bruce Willis movie.
2021 Netflix movie.
I have never watched a movie where because normally I can follow along even if I'm not totally paying attention. I can kind of like, okay, no clue what was going on the entire movie. Had no clue. I was like, this movie.
Was that the one with Bruce Willis released like 2 space ones on Netflix?
So it's in like the year 2000.
25 something.
Yeah, they're all like that. It's stupid.
And he has to kill this like alien race, except that's about all I know of the movie because it made no sense. It was totally stupid.
See, I watched the other Bruce Willis movie that he released this year that was like in space, and he plays like a mechanic on they're evacuating Earth or whatever.
Okay.
No.
He was like a former.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bruce Willis is like, he must be
like, I don't know.
Something.
Ray was like, he must have some sort of contractual obligation because this movie is awful. Seriously, the worst movie I've ever seen. And at the end, I'm like, it's over? What the hell happened? Like, it was just awful. I have an attention span that's not very great, but still, that could not hold my attention. It was awful.
If you've got a good story, I'll try my best to pay attention. Yeah. I could not follow.
No,
like it was this I'm out. Like, this is the most boring action movie I've ever seen.
Yes, that's what it was. It was the most boring action. The story was just stupid.
And the editing as well. They kept. It was like watching stormtroopers shoot each other because it was a bunch of shooting scenes.
Yeah.
But, like, nobody was getting
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're shooting at each other all of a sudden. And why are they now falling from the sky? And what? Yeah. It's like the dudes that edited Suicide Squad, the first one, did this movie, but like did the whole thing. Were in charge of everything.
It was their idea.
Wow.
Awful.
Wrote, directed, produced, edited.
By the dudes who edited the first Suicide Squad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really bad. You should watch it.
No, absolutely not. Joseph, do you have a pick or pan for us?
I have two, actually. Two picks. Pick number one, it's sort of the fall already, and our house is decorated for Halloween, at least the inside. And so that is pick number one, because I've wanted to do it since like June. And so Elaine finally let us do it. And then pick number two.
And that's why you are perfect for each other.
Yeah. And then pick number two, and it's a pick for me, but probably a pan for Elaine, depending on how you want to do it. I started playing Final Fantasy X again, and I have logged way too many hours and progressed in the story very little, because I'm grinding the hell out of the characters to make them super overpowered, and it's pretty awesome.
That's my plan.
That's cute.
I love that one. That's a good one. 9 is another favorite of mine too.
9 was fantastic. I loved the art style.
In the Final Fantasy games, I've gotten a couple of them for Xbox, and I
started at 8. I started at 8. That was the first one that I played, and then I played 9, and it was a lot of fun.
I actually have a Gunblade over here that I won from a raffle trying to get a cosplayer at Geek Fest, and I was like, oh sure, I'll enter your contest, and I won it. So it's made out of wood. It's heavy. It's kind of oversized, but I have a Gunblade just sitting over here.
Yep. Gunblades are awesome, man.
Yes, they are. What's funny is the boys will look at it and go, it just blows their mind. How do you shoot? You don't. So then why? Don't worry about it. It doesn't make sense. Don't worry about it.
At one point in time in my life, I would love to own a Buster Sword, but I don't know if I'd ever be able to carry it around because.
Yeah, no joke. It'd have to be made out of foam or something. Like you obviously, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So. Ray, do you have a pick or pan for us?
No. Well, since the whole episode was based on it, the What If series, I am loving the What If series. It's been fantastic. And my next pick, I'm sure it will be a pick the next time we talk. We are heading up to Quebec next week.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited. I get a week off, and we're going to head up to Quebec. Our neighbors have a plot of land on a lake over in the very far west side of Quebec. And we're going to spend a couple of nights there and sleep in an RV and drive that RV back afterwards. And it's going to be nice. Should be a good time. Yeah.
We haven't been away together since we went to England 2 years ago.
Oh, wait, so it's just you two?
Yeah, it's just us. Yeah. Kids are
okay.
with my dad.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
there's a lot of McDonald's in those kids' future.
Yes.
He already warned me. That he's going to do a lot of takeout.
Chris bought them Delicious pizzas just so that they have something in that.
That and pierogies, just because I know my dad can cook those two things.
Hey, you know what? We're in the middle of soccer season right now, and the nights that they play, there's just no way we can cook anything. And then whenever they have a game or a practice on top of that, it's just like, all right, so let's plan dinners. We've got 1, 2. Yeah, we can only cook twice this week. Like, it's just ridiculous. So. But at least it's only through September, and then hopefully, as long as we don't get rained out or anything, we'll be done in October, and we can actually start cooking again. Because I'm to the point that it's like, what do you want for dinner? I don't fucking care. It's all tastes the same at this point. It's just as much as I love burgers, I'm just like it's all the same. So, Sean, you got a pick or pan for us?
Pick would be Shang-Chi. Went to see that with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. It's in my top 3 list. Probably didn't make the very top. I know my daughter, absolutely, it's her number 1 Marvel movie, and she's all about the Marvel. I can talk about like little obscure things, like when we were walking home from the movies. My boys were like, "Oh, the fight scenes were cool and all that." Where my daughter is picking out stuff how it linked to like obscure Marvel movies. Like, oh, I'm so proud.
Nice.
But yeah, it was like the top one for her. So yeah, that was really, really great. The pan was we just had like a whole bunch of tornadoes and downspouts that came through Ontario.
Yeah.
Now officially where I live, we had downspouts, which aren't quite tornadoes. Tornadoes were about 20 minutes away from us, but Environment Canada is still classifying them. We thought we got away scot-free, but it turns out we're going to lose a maple. The whole back half of this like 30-year maple looks fine from our side when we look out the window, but it came down on my neighbor's side, and we didn't even notice until he was like coming out, dragging out logs with his chainsaw and all that from our property. I'm like, what the hell? So we went and took a look, and yeah, the whole back half of our tree is gone. But it could have been a lot worse. Like we've got huge spruce trees. We got the biggest spruce trees in our town, and we could have easily lost those. They're 130 years old, but we didn't lose any of them. But still, we're going to lose a maple, which sucks. We were out of power for over a day or whatever, but the town's still cleaning up from.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a mess. I was driving on Highway 21 towards Kincardine and drove past that place because there was a tornado that hit around Kingsbridge, around Kintail.
Yeah.
And it took the silos from the barn and threw it across the highway into the field across the street. And it's all the debris, like a lot of the debris still there.
There's still a lot of debris around town. Like I went and I had to do a dump run today, and like even just driving to the dump, there's like so many trees still down.
Lots of down
We've
trees.
got like multiple hydro crews still trying to repair poles and stuff like that. The net was down. The marina in town was hit pretty hard by the looks of it. So the park down by the marina, I don't know if you remember, Chris.
Yeah.
A lot of those trees were wiped out.
I bet.
There was like a boat like tossed like 30 feet. The docks were all moved.
Damn.
So there was quite a bit of damage. Now it was weird because like when it came through, like, and it was really sudden. My wife and I were out in the front porch, and like we got video of it, and, like the rain coming down, and oh, this is cool and all that. But then I heard like it sounded like a freight train coming through, and so I grew up in Tornado Alley. I used to chase them as a teenager. I've had the hubcaps ripped off my car because I got a little too close to one.
Damn.
I was used to it. But to hear it coming when you have kids is a totally different thing. So then it's like I'm yelling at my wife and my kids to get into the center of the house because I'm like, instead of wanting to go out and see it, now it's like, frig, I got to protect them. And that was pretty different. So
No, it missed us. It just hit north of us. But yeah, and then I saw the road. What was it, Road 13 from Southampton to Sauble?
The Sauble, it was closed for days.
Yeah.
Every other tree was down on that road.
That was a downburst, correct? In Sabo?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
So
it wasn't. It was like Chesley and all that actually got the tornado.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of water spouts. We even had water spout today.
Yeah.
So there's still systems going around.
Yeah.
So we had so the day before, so on the 5th of September, just north of Goderich, there was an F0 tornado that went through in the morning.
Port Albert.
It was I was heading to work and I saw these leaves and branches all over the road. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Did somebody like throw the wood chipper on and forget that it was on? Like it was just all over the road, and so I didn't really think of anything of it. And then the tornado happened on the next day, and so a cousin of mine was in Sable when it occurred. He's safe.
Yeah.
He was in the bathroom, and he said he's never been more scared in his life. He heard trees coming down all around him. We had friends and now I think Port Elgin was hit with a downburst as well.
Multiple, yeah.
Yeah, so that's that one. The one just north of Goderich, it's near Killeen, or not Killeen.
Kintail.
Kintail.
Already talked about that.
Yeah, so I think that was a tornado.
Oh, the one that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a tornado that eventually hit Lucknow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was lots of fun. So
Sounds like it.
yeah.
You guys said a lot of words there.
Yeah.
They're all imaginary places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to be vague.
Gotcha.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like it matters. I'm gonna jump in here real quick. I've got 3 picks. 2 of them are just echoing what was already said. What If, Marvel's What If has been fantastic. I've liked every single episode. There are definitely episodes I've liked more than others.
Yeah.
But they're all good. It's like I don't even know what to compare it to. It's like, this is the worst of the tacos. It's still a taco. It's still good, but they were all really good. Second thing, Shang-Chi was awesome. I enjoyed it. I don't want to say I had low expectations, but I really, really enjoyed it. In fact, I even mentioned to Joseph and Lainey after we watched it, I was like, I don't know how well it's going to do. I don't, with the pandemic still going on and everything else, being that it's, Marvel's doing the thing where it's like, hey, let's do the different types of movies set. And now we're getting the martial arts movie. And it's like, I don't know. Hopefully it does well. Apparently it did gangbusters, honestly.
Yeah, they're actually, I think they're going. Eternals is now going just strictly to the theater.
Yeah, I can see that
because of it. They originally were supposed to be going to streaming, and now they've pulled it from streaming.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be an interesting conversation. So, and the last one happened last night. My birthday is here in a couple of days, so kind of picked this weekend to celebrate and do things for my birthday. And I want to do several different things with different, members of my family. And I was like, well, what could I do with like Christy and stuff that she would really enjoy? And so Lainey and Joseph and Christy and I went to, oddly enough, the local theater here. They used to have laser tag, which I never saw anyone doing. And over the course of COVID, they gutted that area and remodeled it, and it's now a place where you can go throw axes. And it was a hell of a lot of fun. I thought it was reasonably priced. It was like $50 for like 75 minutes for up to 4 people. And then they had I didn't realize this, they had a woman there. She was she showed us, number one, she was teaching us how to throw the axes, but then she was also kind of monitoring and was kind of like a host or whatever. So she had different games that you could play. So while we're throwing the axes, there was one, we did tic-tac-toe and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun. You could get drinks and food, and as long as you were back behind the certain line or whatever. And so that's what we did. We ate and relaxed and threw axes at the wall, and it was freaking awesome. So, but yeah, so that's a lot of fun. I know those have popped up a lot of different places. So if you get a chance and you haven't done it yet, go throw some axes. It is a hell of a lot of fun. So, just make sure you're wearing closed-toed shoes. That was the one rule. Had to have closed-toed shoes. So. It was funny because Christy asked me that. She's like, do they have any kind of dress policy? And I was just like, look, Oh yeah. Hey, so no flip flops.
Yeah.
So.
Bye.
So that is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, wherever it is you listen to the show. You can also check us out at epicallygeeky.com, where you can find the rest of the shows that we do, including the Marginally Geeky Show, the Creatively Geeky Show, and Sustainably Geeky. You can find us on all of the different social media at Epically Geeky, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram.
Chris?
I have gone on a bit of a social media break. I had to uninstall the app on my phone. I still have my account. It was a time suck. So eventually I'll go post on it. But it's Rose and Hummingbird on Instagram.
Okay. Joseph?
Jay Marolis. That is my handle for most things that I do.
The one and only. Sean?
Screwing with Wikipedia, so don't trust the people, because I fuck with that a lot. Also, your favorite broken toy on Instagram.
And as always, you can follow my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.